Of course, medium-term budget policy statements, the very key focus in today's session. Of course, we also had the CPI number released and came in better than expected, 3.2% year-on-year in September from 3.5% in August. So that, of course, just really proving that the local currency has been mitigating the importation of inflation.
Yes, Eleni, we're seeing inflation coming down, the stronger rand, lower import costs, and that's really supporting market expectations of an interest rate cut in November. Very positive, obviously, for the rand, and we're seeing dollar weakness abroad. Dollar strength abroad. That's also really hurting the rand today, and we're seeing equities trading lower.
Of course, the JSE All-Share down 0.5% in yesterday's session. We're slightly under pressure today. But on the volumes front, it seems to be one of those very light days. Is it because of the medium-term budget policy statement? Are most investors looking out for some comments about the rand from Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan?
I think it's a combination of things. We're seeing the market off recent highs. We're seeing concerns coming through from QE2, and really the market not having much direction, so investors not willing to commit to any cash at the moment, as well as concerns over the QE2, investors taking off any profits that they have, and really a wait-and-see attitude from this, towards this afternoon in terms of results from new sales and what Pravin Gordhan is going to say this afternoon.
Well, just taking a look at what's happening on the global front, pretty much a mixed day. It seems that earnings are definitely the name of the game right now, and that's pretty much in full force in Japan and also in the US. So some companies disappointing, others coming in better than expected. But what extent is this going to have an impact on investor sentiment in South Africa?
Well, Eleni, it's quite interesting. If you look at the vast majority of corporate earnings that we've seen out of the States, we've seen that more than 85% of companies have beat expectations. Our local companies are under pressure as well, and we've seen it with ArcelorMittal out yesterday. In terms of how it's going to impact our local earnings, we've seen a lot of cash coming through from international companies, and we're going to see emerging market stocks and countries are going to outperform global companies, and we're going to see that, and we have seen that in the last couple of months and possibly into 2011.
Let's touch on Murray and Roberts. Of course, a lot of concerns coming through on the construction front. In fact, we had Fitch saying that the construction sector in South Africa is only going to really start turning around in 2012 and, of course, towards the end of 2011. Similarly, we also had a lot of talk about the 800 billion rand that is set to be spent in South Africa on infrastructure. That was tabled, of course, when it came to government's growth strategy going forward. So perhaps a little bit of good news for construction companies. But Murray and Roberts, one of those companies right now that is feeling the effects of the slowdown in the construction sector, but does say that it has a better order book going forward. So perhaps this company a good buy right now?
Yes, Eleni, the construction sector has come under a lot of pressure with a lot of the World Cup really been priced in the previous months, and we haven't really seen a lot of infrastructure spend coming through from the government side, and companies have come out to say that. So it's really positive that the government has come out to say that they're going to be spending, but we will have to see if government is actually going to follow through in terms of that spending. Your early cyclical recovery stocks, like your construction stocks, are going to be turning now and into 2011, and we're seeing that Murray and Roberts, the order book up 16%, so very positive for the construction sector, and we should see some good things coming out of that sector.
Just taking a look at the resource space, we've got commodities coming under slight pressure. As you mentioned earlier, the dollar gaining ground, and this, of course, adding a little bit of pressure when it comes to the resource space. But at the end of the day, we are starting to see a little bit of positivity. I mean, Implats up 0.62% a short while ago. Goldfields also in positive territory. We are starting to see a little bit of weakening coming through for the local currency. Do you think it's going to be net positive if we do start seeing an active stance from the Reserve Bank and, of course, from the Finance Ministry with that strong rand that, of course, could help the resource companies benefit from the stronger commodity prices in dollar terms?
Yes, Lenny. our resource counters have really come under pressure with the Eskom hike, the higher wage increases, the inconsistency in terms of the mining sector rights changes every so often. So government really has to come out, and they really need to build their relationship with the mining sector, and we should be able to see mining companies really coming to the fore, really ramping up production, really taking advantage of the higher commodity prices.